It's the corner where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by betonline.ag. BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, the game starts here. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Chief Concerns. It's your Monday morning tight end show on your Monday evening. I'm Marcus Dash, just waiting on our guy, our resident tight end, Jason Dunn, to be joining us. But I saw everybody was kind of popping off in the chat, so I wanted to get in and join you guys. Being Witchy Hall, Harama Biff, some of the, okay, all right, some more our normal peeps are in here. Ghost Hunter 1974, Vegas Chiefs Kingdom. Looks like he's at the airport right now, and perfect time for this show to come on. Yeah, it is perfect time. Yeah, it is. A nice way to kill sitting at the gate, I'd say. Yeah, so obviously we got, okay, there it is. Our guy, the man, the myth, the legend, Jason Dunn is hopping on right here. Perfect timing. Right before we get into football talk, our guy hops in. There he is. There's the man.
Oh, shoot, y'all got me on. Oh, what's going on? What's up?
How are you, brother?
Man, what is going on, Marcus? I'm good. Coming back from vacation, another vacay, doing well. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I wanted to start it off here. I saw everybody in the chat was going bonkers in there, waiting for us to come on. Yesterday, JD, we had our first, my flag football team had their first regular season loss. It was for the 1 seed in the playoffs, because next week's the playoffs. It was for the 1 seed, and we lost that game, so now we are the 2 seed going into the playoffs. But the way seeding works out, we both get first-round buys, so I'm okay with it. I was also, first time ever, I actually went into our game plan with a vanilla playbook. I didn't want to give away anything, so it was tough not calling plays that we usually call. We were calling a little different things. We got to the goal line, the red zone. I was calling different plays we've never even run before. Just giving a little variety of stuff. So when we do play them next week, we're gonna be getting a little bit of everything. So
it's good. Well, look, hey, I know you got some plays, and if you ever need it, just let you know. If you ever need it, JD's here to help. So I might have a couple little plays in, my repertoire. All right. From being a coach and coordinator and all those different things, man. So I might have a little something for you. Okay. Maybe it might not be the back behind pass, behind the back type
I don't
of deal.
know if you can do that.
Yeah. Oh, you can. I know you can. Marcus, shoot, I seen you throw the ball, man. You can spin it.
It's a tough one. I mean, I can spin it, but I don't know. That's a tough one. I've seen a lot of people poo-pooing that, saying, "Oh, it's so easy." Somebody actually in our chat or one of our comments actually said, "Pat's not the first one to do it. Sonny Jurgensen did it back in the day." I looked it up.
Sonny Jurgensen. Wow.
Yeah, 1961 is when he did it. So technically, Patrick Mahomes is the first NFL quarterback to do it because that was before the merger, 1961. So Pat is the first guy to do it in not a game. It was preseason. It was an exhibition, but first quarterback to do it since 1961. We're talking just professional football.
That's a name. That's a good name right there, Sonny Jurgensen. That's going way back. Man, let's say what's up to my people out here, man. Who's all in the chat tonight saying what's up to everybody? I see Zulu already. JD, did you survive more Mexico? No, it was not Mexico, Zulu. I actually went down to Clearwater, Florida, and went to go see one of my boys down there, Stu Magoo. You see him out here, Malibu Stu. It's one of my partners from back in the day. Me and my wife went down and had a great time staying right there on the beach. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. But hey, always a good time. But who else is in? Harama Biff. See you, Harama Biff. Traveling man. Andre Chenault. How you doing? Ghost Hunter 1974. Good to see you, my man. Been a while. Witchy Hall. It's not Thursday yet. Nope, it's not. It's not. See who else we got in here. I said Andre already. Vegas Chief Kingdom. Good to see you now. Good to see you. Afternoon. So yeah, that's right. Vegas. Vegas. Lacey Snake. Good to see you. Good to see you. See who else? About time I got in here. Ain't that right? About time. See who else we got. Who else? See, I love this. When I come to the chat, man, everybody's already hopping, man. It's already, good and jumping, Marcus. I love seeing that. I love seeing it.
Yeah, so always a vibrant chat, always, every week.
Jeremiah de los Muertos. Hola. So let me see. Who else? Pet Bobcat. Okay, that's a new one. Haven't seen that name before. Haven't seen that one. So, hello. Love seeing them. Well, we love you back. You love us. We love you back anyway. So, I see my man Malibu Stu's in here. Look, Stu, we made it. We back here, man. We back. So, Charles Driver, JD's looking forward to the next game. Absolutely. And I had some technical difficulties. That's why I went on a call this past weekend with the two Dash brothers, but they held it down like always. That's what they do. So
missed our guy though. Sometimes the technical difficulties are unforeseen, but we missed our guy for sure. So hopefully Bleacher Report and the side note for you guys. But JD, did you get the email from the Bleacher Report technical person? She responded back to the email that I had sent. So she said she was trying to get with you before Thursday night to make sure everything's handled.
Okay, I didn't get the email. And look, I'm one of those. I don't know about you all, but I am not an email person. Okay, you send me an email and I don't know anything about it. It's lost in email world. So I'm not one of those. I check my email every single day. I hate emails. Absolutely hate it. And the reason I do, okay, and this is just me, all right, but I have found that people that send emails, this might not be the case, that sometimes people cover their own tails by sending emails. Oh, I sent you email. I'm like, okay. Nobody let me know what email was coming. So I love texting me a text message. Usually people have my number, but I'll try to get into it. Sometimes people send me on Twitter, and I don't even check my Twitter. What's the DMs? I don't check those all the time either. But
yeah, those are weird. The Twitter DMs, sometimes they don't pop up and say you have a new one. So sometimes I'll go and then I'll check it after a few days. I'll see, unread messages. I'm like, wait, I never even got notifications for these. But yes, I am with you on the email thing, but I wanted to make sure we got the whole thing squared away. So I ended up emailing directly the tech person for Bleacher Report. So she said she wants to get with you for about 20 minutes to do some stuff. So
perfect. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna tell you how many emails I got. I'm looking on it. I got 87,522 emails.
Whoa.
Some of emails I got. So
you need to go on a purge, buddy. You need.
I've done it. I've done Marcus, and it's just like keep coming. It just keeps pulling me back in. It seems like I get rid of like thousands of them, 20,000, and there's another 20 pop up. So I just want to do away with all of it, So, but it's all right. That's neither here nor there, man. Let's talk some Chiefs football, man. We get some good questions going on. Talk about it. How the game went this past Saturday. I got my thoughts on a lot of it. And so I'll give you, a little bit of synopsis on how I felt about some things, but I would love to hear you all's questions about how I felt about, a few things. So, hey, man, y'all shoot away.
Yeah, tonight is your show, guys. So ask away questions that you have for JD. But since we didn't get to hear JD really talk about the preseason game on Saturday, I feel like it's time for JD to let us know what he saw from Saturday's game. So JD, obviously, we talked about Xavier Worthy. He made some splash plays. Obviously, the behind the back pass was awesome. We saw Carson Steele rise to being the RB2 on Saturday. He was the guy behind Pacheco in that game. He ran with Mahomes. So what did you see from him on his second week, his debut with Mahomes? Just in general, what did you see? Offensive line, defensive line? I mean, I have some stuff that I wanted to ask you about, but JD,
okay,
share away with what you got, buddy.
So we'll start with Carson Steele. Carson Steele did a pretty good job. I think he's is he running back too? I wouldn't say he solidified that just yet. Obviously with CEH being out, they just wanted to see what they can do, what it can get out of him. And I think he did a pretty good job. He did a good.
JD, your microphone, brother. The technical difficulties keep getting you.
Can you hear me now? Is that
Yes,
better?
sir.
All right. So the thing is, when sometimes my audio, see, it goes back to the default. So the thing is, when Carson Steele, he did a good job pass blocking too. I think he's a guy that's definitely going to be on the 53-man roster. He plays special teams. He's contributing on offense. He's a guy that might be used as my man out there in San Fran. I can't think of his name. What's his
Kyle Juszczyk?
Juszczyk. They might use him like Juszczyk. All-Star didn't really. He wasn't a burner. But the thing is, positive yards for a guy like Carson Steele. We know he can run the football. He's got ability to make guys miss, but he's gonna run over guys. So he plays a physical form of football. I love that. Physical football changes things. It's almost like we talk about like basketball. We talk about the NBA, right, Marcus? How Draymond Green is running the NBA and on the inside because he's more physical than everybody else. Because it just became a little bit more softer. You don't really have anybody as a banger inside. Carson Steele is like that throwback. More guys as running back is trying to run around you. But I do like Carson Steele what he gives. So he was solid. Next, moving to the offensive line. King Suma looked good. Sharp, had good feet. I think he did a pretty decent job. The guys up front, the interior three, as solid as you could possibly get. They always look good. And so that's going to continue with us. Lucas Niang on the right side, okay, right tackle. It was things, and I took like some, a picture. I wish I could send it. Can I send a picture to you?
Yeah, you can send it to me. I'll get it up while you're speaking.
Okay, yeah, and so, he was kind of back. First off, his alignment was back pretty far. I thought they would at least give him, a warning, which I'm sure they did. But we can't have any more of that going into the season, right? We went through that debacle all last year with Juwan. And so Lucas got out there. He did a decent job. Obviously, he needed to be better. And so he's just a little bit slow. So, that is still a concern, how those things are going to go. But we'll just have to see. Wide receiver wise. So wide receivers look good. Xavier Worthy looked good, but there's still some things that he needs to do, and he's learning. He's a young guy. Obviously, the nerves was getting to him in Arrowhead. That's his first time actually experiencing Arrowhead with that type of people around him. Catching the football, did a good job. What I see is I needed some route cleanup from him. Depth on his route. I told you about that, Marcus, that, when he ran the shallow on the third down, he's got to run it off of Travis Kelce. He's got to have some awareness to understand that. I know they'll talk about it. 3rd and 8, you can't run. He was at
Your audio, brother. JD. There you go. I hear you now.
hit me. There it is. So he still needs to run that shallow at the right depth to run it off Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce sets, the depth of it. He's got to run his man off of that. When it's man or zone, he just got to do a better job. He's still kind of gauging a little bit on his speed. At times when it's open field, he's fast. Okay, we know that. When he ran that post route for the touchdown, open field, he knows to run the space. When he has a guy on him, those things he's got to get better at, and he will. He'll get better at it. There was one they threw one to the sideline. It was a deep ball. He's got to work getting his real estate back. That means push the corner so he can catch ball on his outside shoulder, right? That's what that means when I say get your real estate back. But he's going to learn. Is there any question? And I'm going to say this, okay? If anybody had any doubt how good our wide receiver room was going to be, even without Hollywood Brown, I hope it dispels all the concerns about any of that, okay? And we were talking about that, Marcus. We said, look, this wide receiver room who they got did a great job. So we sit there and looked at, here, you got your Rice, Worthy, and Watson. Rashid Rice is in mid-form. He's ready. That joker, man, him and Pat is on the same page with everything. And he's about as crisp as he could possibly be. I still think that Rashid Rice is going to be our number one wide receiver. Barring that nothing happens, and I don't think the NFL is going to come back. Hopefully they don't. But they're like this. They're clicking. They're clicking with one another. So other than that, man, I think everything looked good. Defensively, man, we'll kind of get into it. Defensive line didn't really look that well. I tell you, Kalafdis looked good on the pass rush. I think he's ready to go. Linebackers was decent, but we can tell that, without Bolton on there, it's still that run stopper. That's why they had Chanel in the middle. And so he's learning kind of in space. He's a good linebacker, but Dick Bolton's a whole different animal. Secondary wise, McDuffie, solid. Williams did a good job. Good to see Cook back out there doing his thing. Jamari Connor is a baller on every respect. He's a guy that you can use anywhere at any time, and he's going to be a solid player for you. Hicks did a good job coming in. So I've seen Spags throwing a little bit of his sub package in to see what guys can do, and he was using some of the younger dudes to kind of do it, bring a little blitz early, and then they dropped they did the dropping the defense ends back. Okay, let's see what they can do. So they got a completion on that. But other than that, man, everything else looked pretty good. I don't know what else to tell you. So
you mentioned Kingsley, who's getting a lot of praise from everybody online, and then looking at just some of the numbers, the analytics behind it. So 18 pass blocking snaps while he was in, only allowed like 2 pressures, I believe, 1 or 2 pressures. Just overall, what do you see from him from game 1 to game 2? Obviously, game 1 he had 1 drive, but game 2, what did you make of Kingsley as left tackle?
It's for a young guy, it's going to be the speed of the game. Really, that's what it's going to be. Because each week is going to be somebody different, and so when you start getting kind of into the weeds, when you got a guy that you had to go against the entire game, how are you going to be able to handle it? Being tired for a full game. That's the difference. So we've only seen him for a quarter to get that type of work. So, yeah, it should look good because he's fresh. When you're tired is really where you gauge and measure a guy. And that goes all the way through the season. So what he's been able to show is, hey, he's good right now where he's at. But he still has to, stay square on it as long as possible. He's stifling guys kind of where he needs to be. Did a pretty decent job, though. But it is, Marcus, that's where you measure him is going to be during an entire game. Okay? So.
You kind of alluded to, talking about Lucas Niang.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of referenced this on the post-game show that Juwan Taylor received a lot of flack from Chiefs Kingdom last year. A lot of people were kind of rode that signing, talking about how much money he got, the false starts. Second half of the season, was phenomenal. But yeah. I hope people – seeing the way Lucas Niang played, I hope people understand that there is levels to this, and Juwan Taylor is significantly that much better at right tackle than other guys. Because I feel like sometimes people take it for granted, the right tackle spot, and they think anyone can just go in there and play the right tackle spot just because I guess, easier to find than your left tackle. But I hope people saw the play from the right tackle spot and saw that there's a difference there between Juwan Taylor, and I hope that his shoulder injury is fixed up and he's back by week 1 of the season, which I think he will based on what Andy Reid said today. But there's a difference there, right? It's pretty eye opening.
No question about it. And that's what I was telling people, you just can't go from left to right and right to left and just let it just seamless and just be great at it. That's hard to do. I seen Broderick Jones. They had to move him over to right tackle in Pittsburgh, and he was getting his butt handed to him. And it was just like, oh my gosh, he's just slower because you've been doing one position for a long time, and right tackle, left tackle is 2 different positions. Lucas Niang's been a swing tackle trying to move back and forth, but it's almost like you're good at something, you're not great at something. And Jawan Taylor he's a good right tackle. He is. And so obviously because of the holding calls and where he false started and being back in the backfield, kind of mired a little bit of what he was able to give here. But he's a solid right tackle in this league. That's why we paid him a whole lot of money, and deservingly so. Lucas Niang is he's a fill-in guy. He's been hurt, but he's always had promise since he's been here, right? So there is different levels, no question about it. So, but like you said, Jawan Taylor's going to be back first game of the season, so that shouldn't be a problem. But it is those things, it's concerning when you start looking at these things. If something does happen to Jawan Taylor, then who do you put in? Is it okay to have somebody that is for Akeem Suma and Wanya Morse? Are they going to be able to get the job done? Still remains to be seen for the entire game. So you just got to keep our eyes on it.
Yeah, what's interesting to me is the Chiefs seem to be, and you and I were high on this guy. What's his name? Prince Taga Wanego.
Yeah.
He's sitting there. He's still a free agent, and we had him for 2 years or 2 or 3 years, and he came in and looked good, and he's still a free agent right now. And I'm like, I'm not trying to knock on Lucas Niang, but from what we've seen in limited time, Prince was significantly more effective than what we ever seen from Lucas Niang. And he's still sitting out there, and he's available. And then we talk about if Jawan Taylor's injury is long term, but when guys get banged up, if he's out, I'd love for us to add Prince and put him back there as our backup right tackle. But that's just me. That's just me.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, those guys know what they're doing. They know the evaluation. They know what guys' pros and cons, how good they are. So I trust them on that process. If they got rid of Prince, it was a reason they just felt like they weren't going. They just moved on from him. So I think in the evaluation process, they felt like Lucas Niang had a higher ceiling than Prince. Now, me watching him at Auburn and watching what he was able to do when he got to Philly, then coming out here, I was like, he's an athletic guy, and he is. He's an athletic tackle. So I don't know if it could have been injuries, could have been, accumulation of things. Not sure. So,
yeah, he's another guy who also has had injury issues as well.
Yeah,
I'm seeing here FAU. This is something that a lot of people are talking about. Felix on the defensive line. You mentioned Carl Loftus as a bright spot. Now, FAU's been a guy that I'm surprised that Ghost Hunter saying this. I think FAU is going to be a good addition to the D line this year because most of I've read online from most Chief fans are kind of. I'm not, I would say, worried about FAU just from the fact that there's not the significant jump that we thought we'd see like we saw with Carl Loftus. We're not seeing it so far with FAU. And he's playing deep in the games where he should be dominating. We're talking about first round pick. He should be dominating some of the competition that he is going up against late in these games. And not really seeing that. I'm seeing a number here that FAU in 30 pass rush snaps generated a total of 2 pressures against the Lions. He had a win rate of 3.3% on Saturday against the Lions. And that's just concerning, considering we just thought we had a guy who was a pro-ready rotational DN guy to come in and be that guy, just a situational, rotational guy. And it's not like we're seeing that. He looks like he's kind of getting lost in the weeds there when we're talking about the day 3 guys and undrafted guys. He looks like one of those types of guys, not a first-round pick. And it's kind of concerning, would you say?
I guess for him, it's just going to take some time. I think it's the reason they've been putting him out there and letting him play the majority of the game, and because they want to get him tired. They want to get him ready and prepared. He's one of those guys, first-round pick, that may take some time to develop, okay? He worked with Tamba this past year, and, he should have immediately started that off, as soon as he possibly could have. But there's some things he's going to have to be able to do. And know where he's limited in. But he's learning all the pass rushing things right now in the preseason. Like, this is the time to try it. Okay? So I seen him, he tried to move in a spin, and he got caught. He got caught in the spin. And that's just something he just got to keep working on reps, keep trying to just wear it out. But he's going to show up. I think he'll show up. I've told you that he's the guy I've been wanting to see for the past two games. And Yeah, it's not what he's not where I thought he would be. But I do see him getting better. Okay, if that makes any sense. I see potential in it. Let me put it that way. That it's like, oh man, you're almost right there. Like, like you just trust yourself. Just go. Trust yourself. And once he figures that part out, because sometimes what you may do at defensive end, Marcus, is you may think too much about what move it is you're trying to do, setting it up, that you get caught in it midway. Sometimes you just got to go. Sometimes you just got to beat your guy, get him up the field, then come back underneath, or just try to beat him and get up, dip underneath like a Von Miller. Those things you just got to try. You have to take chances. He's got to take chances. That's it. So I'm not going to condemn him right now. Second preseason game, he'll get there. It's a long season. And for a defensive end like him, he'll just get better. So,
yeah, I hope so. I mean, I'm rooting for the kid, and I hopefully, like what you all says here, I feel working with Tamba helps them both. Yeah, I hope that working with Tamba, we're going to see this, and I hope it's a continuous thing that he's working with them. Any day off, any time off he gets, he's going to Tamba's dojo, and they're working on whatever they can work on.
Yeah,
and he's a young guy too.
Yeah, he's a young guy. Now, see what your Hall says that FAU's changed from last year to this year. It's kind of similar to Karlaftis was between his first and second years. I'll say yes. I think George was a little further ahead. And the reason I say that is because he was such a run stopper in college. He's very physical playing. That I think that's what gave him somewhat of a head start, because physicality and playing defensive end that's you got to have that part of it. And so what Tama was teaching him is, getting your hands around and just continue to come and go and keep fighting. And so you'll see him when he's coming down is there's a point you get at the defensive end where it's like you could get caught or you just keep going. And so Karlaftis has got to that point where he's continued to come. And he did one masterful against where he almost got a sack in this preseason game. He hit the guy, he hit the quarterback and made him throw a bad ball. But that's what he's learned for the past couple of years with Tamba. He's learned that. So
yeah, and FAU is 22 years old, so he's still a very young guy. Second year, but he's still a very young dude, which is great. And so there's a lot of room for growth. Might be a good idea from Boyd Lockhart. Might be a good idea to get another pass rusher for depth. I love the show. Appreciate you, Boyd.
Appreciate it, Boyd. And me personally, I agree with you. I agree. So there's guys on the street that we can definitely employ. So I agree with you.
Thoughts on Randy Gregory? He was just released this weekend by the Buccaneers after an extended absence.
What does that mean?
Apparently, he did not go to any of the mini camps and has not attended training camp. So he's just kind of I don't know if maybe he doesn't like the situation. I don't know. It could be a multitude of things, but apparently he hasn't been really communicating with the team, so that's why they kind of let him go. But hey, you come to a team that's winning Super Bowls, that might change a little bit, right? That might change your mindset.
It can, but also it can mean that Joker's a loose cannon. He'd be a hell of a guy to get here. But shoot, if Joker's if he ain't right to come, then I'm sure they'll delve in that and find out what's going on with this guy. But that's a whole different. He said he ain't talking to him at all. He don't come to training camp or nothing, huh? OTAs, it heard nothing. You calling him and it's like, this phone number has been disconnected. It's no longer in service. So
going AWOL.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, the talent that he has all the talent in the world. But I mean, if whatever it is, I don't know. I mean, it could be personal stuff. They don't really know. I think that's the whole thing. There wasn't communication there. That's why they deemed the release extended absence is what I think the parentheses said. Released, extended absence.
Sounds good. But man, like you said, no toxicity, man. You can't get somebody AWOL. Ain't talking to nobody. So
Yeah.
the Joker might be living in the mountains somewhere, growing a beard out, hunting with a toothpick.
Yeah. So, John Clever, we still sitting on about $15 million in space. So I mean, the money is there. I don't know if Rennie Gregory I don't know. A lot of these guys who are still out there, I don't know if they're going to be breaking the bank at this point because, I mean, training camp's over. Well, I mean, we're about to come to the part now of training camp where all these guys are going to be cut. There could be good quality guys who are waived or cut. And, sometimes, teams are always looking for the next big thing to pick up. So,
see, and I don't really know his situation because I know he was with Dallas and he comes up here to Denver. I mean, I don't know as far as like how the whole contract and everything worked out with him, but I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure they're
31 years old too. Young guy.
Yeah. Appreciate you, brother Rick. Appreciate you.
Yeah. So we got a first question of the night, brother Rick. Question: would it surprise you if Thor, I'm assuming he's talking about Carson Steele, became RB2? JD, what are your thoughts on that?
Would it surprise me? Yeah, it would be. It would surprise me a little bit. Depth chart wise, like if Pacheco goes out, he's coming in as your guy. It would surprise me. Not that he doesn't have ability, not that he's not a good player, because we know he is. But what we do offensively, I think you need a guy, and Prince kind of showed up. We've seen what he can do running the football, but I think you still need that RB2 to be, running out, catching passes, which Steele can do, but a little bit more elusiveness, okay? Steele could come in and shoot. He lighten guys up. I like Steele. I like Thor a lot. I do. So, but it would surprise me. So answering your question, brother Rick.
Yeah, and right now it seems like the team kind of doesn't really know what they're dealing with CEH. Obviously, he mentioned he had PTSD and he was inactive this weekend. That's why we saw Carson Steele. But today, head coach Andy Reid said, quote, "We'll play by ear and see how he feels. We're heading in the right direction here. It's a sensitive deal. We're learning as we go here." Asked whether he could start the year on IR, he says Brett Veach might have a plan for CEH in regard to roster construction. So,
okay.
Yeah, but which is obviously whatever he's going through. Prayers. We've talked about this before. Prayers to CEH. I was looking forward to seeing CEH this year without Jerick McKinnon and seeing if we could actually utilize him in that same way he was utilized at LSU. I was really excited for that. So it sucks to hear whatever he's going through, and it's more than football is the game they play and they get paid for, but it's life, and there's a lot more than just football. So whatever he's going through, my heart goes out to him.
Absolutely. So,
but Thor, everyone's excited about Thor and seeing what he can do as we progress here. We had another question. Jeremiah Dillis Mortos had the same question about RBTS. Everyone's excited about Thor right now.
I like it. I like Carson Steele. And he's a solid guy. When you need hard running, he could come in. He could beat RB2. I'm not saying he can't be RB2. I'm just saying that I think RB2 is more suited, and look, if we could get caught up in RB2, RB3, I think Pacheco's number one, then everybody else is 2 and 3. That's interchangeable if you want to make it that way. Okay. Yeah. So
it's more situational than like
RB2,
RB3, because everyone knows we've had problems with the third and shorts, the fourth and shorts. We had to do like weird things, putting Blake Bell behind the center because we don't do QB sneaks. But now we have a guy who can kind of ram it down the middle. Not saying Pacheco can't. I'm saying we have another guy who can do that, give us fresh legs, to give us a hard, tough yards, grind it out yards. And I think that's what he's going to be. Forget RB2, RB3. He's going to be a situational guy.
Hey, and look, Thor will bloody people's noses. He'll bloody a linebacker's nose. I've seen him stifle, and he understands, the chipping, right? Which everybody's like, tackles don't get chipped. We don't need no help when they was talking about. I'm just like, it's what we do in offense. You got to chip. You got to learn how to chip. It's part of it. go get you some ribs. But Carson still understands that. I seen him go out there, chip for Lucas Niang. I see Pacheco go out there and help Kingsley. But I also seen a linebacker come up the middle, and Carson Steele said, not on my watch. Okay. Yeah, he hit that sucker dead. And I was like, oh, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. So
that's what you want to see from an RB fullback hybrid.
Yeah, we could use that. Yes, sir.
So going to Closet Slim Racer's question here. There we go. The man of the summer. When you get to it, what are LRZ's chances of making the squad? I know nothing technically, but is he getting reps, but will it be enough?
Okay.
JD, I was going to say, we didn't really see him get offensively this past week. We saw him kick off a few times, which I think is still an interesting facet to the whole thing, that he can be this hybrid of a kicker role. But what are you making of what you're seeing right now?
So, LRZ, our guy from Wales, okay? I think LRZ, can he make the 53-man roster? And I've said he has to be stellar on special teams. He has to be, to the point where you got to make it hard to get rid of him. He's got to go down and make plays. He's a personal protector. He was kicking off, did a great job on the kickoff. Heck, on the opening kickoff, he might have had some good yards if Remigio decides to block for him. And I'm like, he ran right by the dude. If Remigio touches the guy just a little bit, LRZ might be out the gate. So next game we'll see. Okay, this will be a last time to really evaluate if he's going to make the 53-man or not. And the thing is, it goes down to cutting other guys out. Can you get rid of somebody else to make a space for LRZ? LRZ, look, he needs a lot of work at running back. We know this. Okay, you could say he's RB4, but he's a special teams guy all the way. We know that. That's going to be his end to make it this 53-man roster. So the Chiefs have to say, will we sacrifice somebody not being on this squad, the 53-man, for LRZ? That's the question. And if you could make the case for him to be on here, then the Chiefs will do it. But more for me, I see practice squad more so than anything else. Let him develop. Maybe toward halfway through the season, or maybe before that, then you could switch him in and switch him out, however you want to do it. But I just need to see more. He's just not getting enough reps, Marcus. For me, like maybe this next game, you'll say, "All right, LRZ, you got these next 2 or 3 series in running back. Okay, make a break, see what you're gonna do." And I mean, let the cards fall where they may. But
what does it tell you that he's not playing? Really, I mean, it's mainly special teams. I think he played every special team snap this weekend. But like, what does that tell you from a standpoint of? Because I mean, we talked about this. The only way he's going to get better is playing the position, and he's not even playing running back. I mean, yeah, I think he came in for a little bit on offense at the end of the game, like tail the end of the game. But like, it's pretty interesting that like he's not playing the position. He's only playing special teams. And like, I feel that even with a guy who's a special teamer, you have to be kind of confident enough for him, but God forbid all the guys ahead of him get hurt, that you can be like, okay, well, we could put LRZ in at running back and he can be a competent running back during a game. But I just don't feel like we feel that way. And I feel like we wouldn't want to put him in a position like that. So can you really make the case for a guy who's just a special teamer to make the team and cutting other guys who could actually play a role, special teams and on offense or defense?
It'll be tough. Like when you start going through, man, that 53-man roster is going to be real tight with how guys are playing right now. I have my 53 already laid out. Let me see how it's going to end up. I think I'm going to be right on it. But it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be a tough one. But will you compromise some of the things that you want to do to get LRZ in? That's on them guys. I'm telling you, I think he needs to grow. The reason he's not getting reps at running back is because he's just not there yet. And it's not a slight to him. it's a new position for him. Like the whole blocking and speed, it's new. It is absolutely new to him. So it's no fault for him. It's just what it is. So
That's a good question here. Oh, not question, but a good comment here by Gav Leaf. Do we want to protect Butker and let LRZ kick off? I think it's his big in. What do you make of that?
Gav, that was what it would have to be, man. I think that's why they use him having on kickoff. So then you take Buckner out where he's just kicking field goals, okay? And you're paying him, he's the highest kicker, in the game, kicking field goals. But when he's kicking off, you have a guy that could come down or run people down if you need to with LRZ. So that will be the one, when you sit there and compromise, like, oh, okay, well, let him do this. Let him do that. But who do you not carry offensively or defensively to put him in is the question, right? So I know we signed a new long snapper in because of Winchester's his problem. Shout out to Noah Gray for coming in and doing a masterful job snapping the football, okay, in Winchester's absence and his injury. But
tight ends the tight ends can still truly do it all, JD.
That's what we do, baby. That's what we do. Come on. They ain't changed a lick.
Yeah. We got a question here from Rick Hendrickson. Last year, we relied on defense. This year, it looks like we are going to rely on offense and outscore people. JD, what are your thoughts?
I think we rely on both of them. I think our defense should still be in the top 10 in this league, possibly top 5. Obviously, Chris out, it looks different, right? And guys are not necessarily pro. Bolton's not playing. So we got 2 guys, top defense, 3 guys, a minute who's not playing on our defense. But I do agree with our offense now needs to step up because we got all the weapons on here. There's no excuse whatsoever why we can't put up 30-something points a game. At least 28 more, if you want to say 28 plus. We should get at least 4 touchdowns every single game. Every single game. So I agree with you, Rick. Very good point.
Michael Ramos, another question here. How long would it take for a free agent to come in and learn the system and get in sync with the rest of the players? Omenahu should be back in 6 weeks or so. So does it make sense to use that cap money?
If you're talking about a defensive end, it ain't going to take no time at all. See ball, get ball. Hit ball. Whoever got the ball, go get them. So if you're a defensive end, you should already know what to do. So it's going to be press, get the guy, lock him out, shed, and go get the tackle. So defense, and it's not a hard system to learn. That's why I get on defensive guys. I used to get on Warfield. I used to tell them, y'all guys got it easy. Y'all don't have to learn an offensive playbook, 200 different, things. Y'all go through packages, okay, where guys need to be. And y'all get told by the linebackers, okay, or the safeties to tell you what you need to do. So now it just be, joking around with my defensive guys. But no, for a defensive end, easy. That's easy. So no problem at all. Learn the system.
Another question from Melly Matrix. Roster count. 6 or 7 wide receivers and 3 or 4 running backs.
Melly Matrix. Man, my guy. 7 wide receivers, I think. 7 wide receivers, 3 running backs. That's what it's going to look like.
All right, and I wanted to pull this up just to get clarity. So this is the newest updated depth chart that came out tonight. And I'm going to put this up right here. Yeah, very interested. I mean, not really shocked by where it is at. It doesn't look like there's much change from last week's. Right here. Okay, so sorry, bear with me, everybody. So this is the updated depth chart here. JD, just a question because I have some people ask about this online. Where I've seen people ask about this. When you're doing the wide receiver 1, 2, 3, 4, how does it work with this page here? Like when you're doing the 1, 2, 3, 4, how are you alternating from Hollywood, Rice, Justin Watson, Worthy?
I mean, because these guys are interchangeable, I think you just kind of look at your top 7. Hollywood, Justin can play any position. We know it. Rasheed Rice, same thing as Xavier Worthy, same. Sky Moore and Justin Ross. I think the 7 right now, and I'm looking at Hollywood Brown, Rasheed Rice, Justin Watson, Xavier Worthy, Sky Moore, Justin Ross, and Cole Harbin. I think that's the 7 right now that you're looking at. that's leading the pack. So,
And JD, I don't know if you noticed, I pulled up the video on our Twitter feed today. Justin Ross, the amount of attention he gets when he's on the field, yes, he doesn't get the ball every play, but the amount of attention he gets on the field, on the play where Xavier Worthy scored the post ref for a touchdown, you look at the play, I mean, Ross is running just a drag route, and he's bringing two dudes with him. And that one, the one over the top, I don't know if that was the safety or one of the backers on the other side, weak side backer coming over to help out on that play. I just thought that was amongst the plays. And then there's a few plays where Ross had a few blocks on, I think Cornell Powell's touchdown run. Ross had a nice block on that one. He missed a few blocks during the game. I will say that he missed a few. But Deneric Prince, he had a nice block there on that one long run there, and then he had a nice block on Cornell Powell's long touchdown run. But Ross is doing a lot of things that a lot of people have given, maybe people have been blind to see that, yes, I mean, he does create attention, bringing double teams for no reason. I don't know why they did, but then also some blocks on a key plays throughout that game.
Chief notes on Lions. Wide receivers need to work on blocking, especially Justin Ross.
Ooh.
Chief notes. I gave him a D on blocking. He probably had a C on his this performance. His blocking was not at par, and not only his but other ones too. Okay, and this is something that when guys are you're trying to get everything right, you're thinking about different things, but you need it. Like if you don't get the football, go find some work. Okay, that's going to be emphasized. I know they're going through that already in film to talk about those things. But I think the one that you said he brought two, I think it might have just been a blown coverage. I don't think it had anything particular like, oh, that's number 8, go get him. I don't think it's that at all. So, but we know, look, we keep talking about his talent. We know that, okay? But it's something left to be desired for his blocking. When you see a guy smack his hands because it's his guy. It happened a couple times. I don't like seeing that. It's not good.
The quick screen to KT that was there right away. As soon as KT caught the ball, they had a guy at his knees.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this too, because everybody's dumping on Kadarius Toney. The things that came to him, no fault of his own. I don't think. Things are just not lining up well. So, what do you do with Kadarius Toney has to come in with the third quarterback or second quarterback, get the ball. He throw one, he's trying to catch it with one hand, and it's difficult. It's difficult when it's not the number one guy, and so it's not his fault that Justin Ross doesn't get his block. He gets his block. We don't know what could have happened. So that's why I hate it for a guy like him. And I heard, and I don't really watch a whole lot of shows, Marcus. I don't, other than, we go through ours. I heard a guy say something today. I just happened to see it. Was talking about Kadarius Toney. And I'm just over it and all of this and stuff. And I'm just like, yo, who you think you are? Like, you saying this, and look, he could be gone for the Chiefs. But it just seems like, I don't know, the way it was said rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. Okay? And the reason it rubbed me wrong a little bit is I know what these guys are kind of giving out there. I understand the frustration with these things out here, what the guy's going through, and which is how I think KD has finally got his head straight. I think he is, but things not lining up to put him in a position. When they was using him in the backfield, then he gets hurt, right? He's getting injured, and then all of a sudden the play calling not necessarily, is a strong suit. When they do get him a play, the guy don't block for him, all those different things. So I just wanted to say that, man. I was like, man, dude, really? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's something it just hit me. How the dude said it. I was just like, I wonder how many times you done been in that position. Times you don't lace things up. You know what I mean? And so it's going to be hard for a guy like him, KT, and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. I watch people move on from a lot of different ones, a lot of different people. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, thank God these jokers ain't the one making the decisions about some of these guys who want to move on from. So I don't know, just rubbed me the wrong way because it seemed like it was what word am I looking for? Like he just felt like he was despicable. Like he just like, you know what I mean? Like he was trash.
Like dismissive.
Yeah, dismissive. I'm just throwing him away. Like done with him. Hands. I'm like, oh, all right. Okay.
We do see that a lot. I mean, Lewis Cuthbert here, defense needs to step up, offense needs to stop sputtering, time to let Tony and Moore walk. I mean, we see that kind of stuff. And the comments like that, I mean, every day you see it. And I gotta say, for to watch KT, and obviously, you know, whatever's happened has happened, but definitely a case of humble pie to be going from the number one receiver last year to playing into the third, fourth quarter in week 2 of preseason. I mean, right? I mean, as a player, that's humbling to you to know that you went from being the wide receiver 1 and now you're playing with the third quarter of a meaningless preseason game. That right there just kind of like definitely eye opening to him. I don't think it needs to be piled on that this guy needs to be out of here. You know, get him out, get lost, kind of thing.
But look, man, people gonna have their opinions, and that's fine. Hey, look, have your opinion about whatever, but it is like Wendy said, it's apathetic. Okay. And Wendy says you wouldn't be fired from a regular job for some struggles KD has been going through. Not at all. And so we see and we ask shoulda, woulda, coulda a lot of different ways with KT. Okay. When it seems like he's about to like at least get to a point, something else happens, right? And I get it. People have had their time with KT and ready to move on from it. KT has had enough to turn it around, forget his chances, he can go. All right. I'm leave that to Andy and those guys. And I'm glad that Andy gives guys chances. Okay. I'm glad that Andy takes the time to try to learn guys and work with guys. Okay. If this happens to be his last time here with the Chiefs, or if he makes it, so be it. Okay. So be it. But I don't know, man. I don't like the whole piling on dudes like that. You know what I mean? And that's just me. So they could do whatever. So.
Yeah. I think it might be one of the last few times, in just my opinions, but where it's trending, where he was playing in that game, where he is in this depth chart here. I think we are nearing the end of the Kadarius Toney in a Chiefs uniform. It's always sad to see the guys who were, first round picks, highly touted to go to getting cut and whatnot. But
yeah.
Name of the game. I mean, there's a lot of talent in the world in the NFL. I mean,
a lot of talent. Yeah. Michael Ramos says, totally disrespectful how some analysts talk down players working hard to make the roster. No doubt about it, man. Look, I have respect for all those guys out here who's trying to make it. Every single one of them. I'm not using disparaging remarks of any guy like I'm just going to throw them away like they're trash because they're not. These guys have value. Tony just hadn't had the type of run that we expect him to have to run. Does that mean it doesn't change around for him? We don't know. So this next game on Thursday, he's going to have a chance to show it again. Okay. And it's going to be on any of those guys to make that decision. So, Rick said, JD, you should be a lawyer. Hey, man, I'm a guy that has a heart for people. And so I know that everybody has innate value. They do. Kadarius Toney. And so if a guy's had a hard time, I can realize a guy that's having a hard time. For a guy than myself that I've had a hard time in the NFL, I know what this is about. I know the pressures the guy's going through, and people just don't see it. They don't see it. They don't understand the hurt and the pain behind these things that guys go through, like mentally, the stress that guys go through. And so my thing is I'm using it from a player's perspective that I'm not dismissive of people like that. So, but I appreciate it. So maybe I might be an attorney. somebody has a heart to some of these other guys who don't care about anybody. So appreciate you, Rick.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see how that transpires on Thursday for KT. Another thing, this is just more like just upbeat news. Not only did Andy Reid talk about the CEH stuff, but Andy Reid also said that most of the Chiefs players who are injured should be ready to go against the Ravens. The list includes Chris Jones, Nick Bolton, Joe Tooney, Juwan Taylor, Derek Nottie, Justin Reed, and Justin Reed also responded to somebody on Twitter saying he will be playing on that Thursday night game against the Ravens. The lone exception would be Hollywood Brown, who may or may not be available. So, JD, we got good news ahead for our uh-oh. No, JD is gone right now. I don't know what happened there. Maybe power outage, maybe? I don't know. I think you saw it happen to me a couple weeks ago, so we'll see where JD hops back here. I don't know. JD's been having some struggles with the internet and technology here, but we'll see what everyone's saying in the chat right now. Yeah, JD should be a lawyer. JD should be an advocate. JD's just a good person, so JD can do a lot of things, guys. Tony really should be gone after Saturday's performance. I don't understand what the staff sees in him. I've had enough of him. Rob, we just kind of talked about it. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it is a case of humble pie. I mean, the guy was the number one receiver last year, and now he's playing in the third quarter of a meaningless preseason game. So, he had a penalty on covering up Irv Smith Jr. On the first play that he got in. You know, it happens. I mean, look, if he does go, I wish him the best elsewhere. But yeah, I think it is time. I think it is time for maybe just a new scenery and maybe a new fan base. You know, he played out his welcome in New York. Seems like Chief fans, for the vast majority, are kind of done with him. So, you know, maybe a new scenery could do him some good. And hopefully he finds that if he is not on the team. But if he's on the team, going to root for him just like always. But yeah, Saturday's performance, I mean, can't beat around a bush here. It wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. Belichick wouldn't be as patient, not saying wrong or right, but saw him today and came across my mind from McAfee. Not about hurting the player, but helping the team. Yeah, I mean, okay, hold on. JD's coming back on.
Check.
Power outage?
Dude, I don't know what that was. You know what? I got to get my cords and stuff together, man. I don't know what it is right now.
Oh, you're good. So we had one comment from Rob Miller, who pretty much backed up the KT stuff, but he said Tony really should be gone after Saturday's performance. I don't understand what the staff sees in him. I've had enough of him. Just looking at his play on Saturday, I think his first play in, he had the penalty where he covered up Irv Smith Jr. So, I mean, if you are trying to prove this, to stay around, I mean, that stuff like that, it's not good. Anything personal stuff, I'm forget about all that. But like based on his play Saturday, yeah, it's not the best. And I think honestly at this point, maybe a new scenery might help him, do him some good. Maybe a new fan base. Based on the way this fan base has kind of turned against him, I think that might do him some good. To be quite honest with you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. All right. So I look at it like this, right? So this is what I'll do. Okay. So we've at this performance, preseason. It's not a good indicator on how good of a player Kadarius Toney is. We know that. We can't look at Saturday's performance and say, this guy needs to be gone because he's not performing. When you're playing with the backups, you're not guys. You don't have guys blocking for you, and so it's going to be something that is going to be hard to evaluate. It really is. So that's the difference. So, like you said, we went from him being the number one wide receiver last year, okay, penciled in. We asked him to come back early from an injury that he had, okay, come to a game. He didn't perform well. Everybody piled on him, right? Well, they asked him to come back early. It's not his fault. It's what the Chiefs needed to do because Travis Kelce wasn't going to play. So, Kadarius Toney, you need to play right now, right? And that's part of that is like putting the pressure on him. This is what he has to do. Okay. Does that mean a team is putting him in a position where he might not necessarily be ready to get hurt, to get injured? Sure. Happens in the NFL all the time. We understand this is the business. Okay. And I understand this is a business too. I do understand that. All right. Now, this is my humanist coming out of my heart coming to me as far as letting people understand that these people are just regular people that, have to deal with these things. Just have to deal with it. So, like Rob Miller, he doesn't line up properly. It was the one time we know he didn't line up. Well, Rob is staying on. Come on, man. Stupid penalties. A lot of people had stupid penalties. We could go through guys that had stupid penalties. So that was all last year. But let's project, we're going to, put a spotlight on Kadarius Toney. My thing is, I really value guys' opinion. Okay. Everybody has their own opinion about what it is on here. What you see on TV is the frustration is what he's showing. He's showing this because it's like he can't get right. I can't get a chance. Right? I know that as a player. This is a player speaking how this operation works for us. And on the field, you think you upset with it. You think you're done with it. He's been done with it. Shoot, Andy Reid's been done with it. Andy Reid's like, man, all he needs to do is get healthy. Right? He can't help but he keeps getting hurt. So, sure, they can move on from a guy. But saying he's not good is just not true. We know he's good. We know he's athletic. We know he's a good player. But you got to be able to stay healthy to be able to show what you can do on the field. So it ain't his talent. We know that. Yeah, the frustration sets in that, yeah, he might have to deal with some things mentally that was probably bothering him, dealing with it, that he might have felt like there was maybe not so much truthfulness going on, okay, behind the scenes. But this is what happens, man, I think in NFL locker rooms. There's a lot more that goes on than they tell the media. It really is. And so the business doesn't mean that the business is right. Okay. Sometimes how people handle it. So I'll say that. But I get people want to move on from Kadarius Toney. Hey, shoot.
Yeah. I will say Kadarius Toney has become like somewhat of a guy people reference when they drop passes. Like my flag game yesterday, like one of my receivers had dropped like 4 passes. It was awful. Shout out my boy Roshan. He said after the game, some of the players who didn't go to the game, he said, I was pulling a Kadarius Toney today. And that's that's what he said? That's what he said, yeah.
Okay, that's funny. Like, all right, that's funny. When KT called Reed and company liars and told them the second one, it was done straight disrespect.
I mean, it's fair. I mean, it's fair.
It's fair, but here's the contention. We don't know what was told to him. We don't know what the conversation was with them. Okay, so let me be fair too, because y'all don't know. I don't know, but I do know this. I do know that there's a lot goes on behind the scenes that everybody doesn't really know. And sometimes it is half truths being told from every aspect, from the coaches, training staff, maybe from him. So, all right, everybody ain't going to say everything that's going on. It's just not, that's not the reality. I'm telling you this because I lived it. I know this because I've known it for 12 years, guys, has been in the league and what's been told to certain people. Okay? So don't think for a second that teams are above doing things that might not be truthful. Okay, and that's including the Chiefs. That's just how it works, man. It's just how it works. So, and I get that. First thing you don't do is you don't go talk to the media. That's not what you go do. You don't go crying to the media and saying all those different things. Somebody called him, was saying contention and stuff like that. I don't know. But somebody talking about your livelihood, you're going to say some things. So What he said, I defend my family. Well, the thing is, they'll get it all figured out. The thing was, if they felt it was disrespectful and all that, they would have got rid of him right then. Okay. If they didn't feel like there was no type of reconciliation or they couldn't move past it, he would have been gone that day or at the end of the season. They kept him around for a reason. Now, why is that? What was the purpose of keeping him around for the reason, Marcus? Okay. And I ask everybody else out there too. So
He's a talented guy.
He's a talented guy, right? They wanted to deploy him for a reason because they know what he can do. So
yeah, what I will say is basically just this comment, straight disrespect. Yes, it's straight disrespect to Andy and the coaching staff, but we obviously don't know what's going on there. Mm-hmm. I would say as far as disrespect, the fact they kept him on the team, they obviously weren't that disrespected by. He's still on the team, and that's been 7 months, 7 months since then. It was January 30th. My thing would say for that to go on Instagram when he posted it on Instagram, January 30th, like 2 weeks before Super Bowl Sunday, very distraction. A big distraction. We're talking about Super Bowl. We got a guy going on Instagram being pissed off about whatever the coaching staff told him. And I guess, usually see that kind of stuff be handled in-house and kind of gripes where go in-house where instead we're going to Instagram story. It just seems kind of a lack of a maturity thing there, JD. I mean, he's a young guy still. I mean, to go and kind of do it on a public platform. And I get everyone's doing things on social media now. It's a little different time is what it back in the day. But still, I mean, I think there was a way he could have handled that a little bit differently than the way it was handled. But look, the team wasn't disrespected by it because he's 8 months later, he's still on the team. So.
Well, yeah, and what I'm saying is maybe both parties felt like they probably could have handled it a little bit better. So Barbershop said this is a performance-based business. With that being said, I think it's time for Kansas City to move on from KT. Sure, it is a performance-based business. No doubt about it. I agree with you 100%. We know this. And they can move on. I'm not saying that you can't move on from a guy. I'm not saying, don't cut KT. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that how people are just using it as trash that, these players are nothing, that we just, for their own beck and call to whatever they want to do. And it's just like move on from a person, not even thinking that this person has anything else about them other than football and value. So that's my approach, what I'm saying. And like I said, too, we don't know what happens behind the scenes. And look, I didn't get to go play in the playoffs. And I think I've heard this, and everybody's heard this before. But I remember they put me on IR, okay? Didn't even tell me for the playoffs. Didn't have a conversation with upper management or nobody. They just went ahead and made a decision. I found out through Adam Teicher. Adam Teicher was coming down on the elevator, or he was going up, I was coming down. And he said, hey, man, I didn't know he was on IR. I said, I'm on IR. He's like, oh, you didn't know? No, I didn't know. You know how it felt? When you talk about like a punch in the gut, and I remember saying, I said, look, next time y'all make a decision about my career, let me know. I wasn't a young guy. I'm an older dude. I'm a vet. I done put in years. So that's a conversation that somebody would have with you, right? You would think. That's just out of decency and respect. Okay? Things happen, and it was like, okay, you know what, JD? You were right. You were absolutely right. Okay? Before we let the media know these things, we should at least had a conversation with you. Yeah, absolutely right. You should have. You know what I'm saying? I've been sacrificing myself. My back had been hurt. I'm sitting over here, taking medication, getting Toradol shots, to go through games. Been sacrificing all this time, and then all of a sudden playoffs come, right? When I want to play, make sure our team is going over. I'm giving everything to the squad, okay? And I'm not saying that they didn't have a heart for me. I'm not saying that it was something that was malicious. I just think that it was done in a bad way. And so I think they realized it, but like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. We should have had a conversation with you. You think so? So, I get it's a business. Doesn't necessarily mean the business is benevolent. Doesn't mean the business is right all the time. And so sometimes when we hear these conversations coming out of whatever organization it is, you got to take things with a grain of salt because we don't really know. So he's voicing his frustration over it. Maybe shouldn't have done it. And same thing with him. He should have kept his mouth shut. Don't go on Instagram talking all that business. You keep business in house. Like we say, the four walls, like how it works in the locker room, keep it in the locker room. That's what you do. That's what you do. That's the way business should be conducted. Okay? So that's me and my spiel. That's when I'm sitting there saying KT and, Sky Moore, people want to move on from and stuff like that. I said this, Marcus, and look, I would love to get Sky Moore on this, on our show. It's a second round pick that understand these things, like the pressures you had to deal with, struggling sometimes, and maybe things not going your way. All right. I know what he's going through. I know how he's pressing himself. Like, I have a heart for it because I had to go through it myself. Most guys in the NFL goes through it. And so, these guys are not just machines, man. They're not machines. Okay? I know it's the entertainment business. Guys go out there to win games and stuff like that, man, but we have lives to ourselves. Okay? We're valuable people. Like, I want to be valuable for you. It's almost like if I'm sitting over here saying a dude has come in with a mechanic, like I'm just done with him. We need to drop this guy because he hadn't been rotating my tires the right way each time, okay? Or he hadn't been filling it up to, whatever pressures I want in it. Okay? You make it somewhat of a cordial type of goodbye. Hey, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Don't need it. And we'll move on, right? That's all I'm saying is respect. I never just, we need to be done with it. I see, okay, I'm getting on my preachers, man. I'm sorry, you all. Okay, when I'm telling them, I'm one of those. I don't want to see anybody be done a wrong way, whether it be a waitress or anybody in business. When I see people treat waitresses and stuff out here, you know what I mean? And just feel like they're beck and call and you just treat them any type of way and don't give them a tip. Or, hey, come here and just snap at them and stuff like that. Like they're just trash that you don't respect. It's crazy to me. So that's enough for me saying that. I'm done. All right.
Yeah, and I think there is a difference in saying, like, for example, some people in the chat here, KT needs to go, needs to find someplace else, or saying, oh, I think it's time for Kansas City and KT to go separate ways. That's fine. I think it's fine. But to say he needs to be out of here, like this guy needs to go, it's like it's a little the way you say things is a little differently. And also too, like let's say, for example, I think Sky Moore's going to make this team. I think KT's going to be left off the roster. That's that you're guessing. That's a prediction, not saying this guy needs to go. I want him out of here. Like that's just it's like what you said. It's very like you're disposing of the guy. It's like it's the kind of what you said. You're throwing him out like garbage kind of thing. And I think that's. These are people, and like you said, like using the servers or waitresses or whatnot, like the way you treat people. There's a way of going about things.
Way going about it, man.
There's a way of decorum and class, kind of doing that stuff. So
absolutely, and that's all I was saying. That's why I didn't want to get on this rant. Doesn't matter who it is, KT or anybody else for that matter. Hey, look, I'm cheering for all these guys, every single one of them when they out there. Okay. Cheer for every single one of these dudes out here to make it. This is something they're trying to do for their livelihood. I don't care how much money they make. I could care less. To be honest with you. I think everybody needs to have a heart and humanness. I think it's part of our problem out here is like we just don't care about people other than what we do about them, right? It's all transactional. It's crazy to me. I'm just not, hey, I've learned a different way in growing, Marcus. And I'm glad I've grown into this man that I am right now today. Okay. Easy to throw people away. Easy. So, and like I said, if KD's gone, hey, God bless you, brother. You know what I'm saying? You move on to your next endeavor, whatever it is, another team, it might work. And somebody said that earlier, like maybe there's need to make a, hey, restart, go somewhere else. Could be it.
A new setting for KT. Warren is welcome in New York. Obviously, we all know about his arguments he got into with Giants fans. And now it's got to a point where Chief fans are, some are done with him. Some think he needs to go elsewhere. And maybe he needs to find a new place. But as of right now, on August 19th, he's still on the Kansas City Chiefs roster. What happens in a few days or next week, who knows? But as of right now, he's on the team, and he was a contributor to a Super Bowl. Had the longest punt return in Super Bowl history, had a touchdown in that game. So, he did make some contributions, and he's going to be in the Chiefs lore forever because of what he did in that Super Bowl. So, like him or not, he's in the Chiefs history book forever.
Right. So as long as he got the jersey on there, man, we rooting for him. And then he goes somewhere else, we're going to still root for him. So, I always wish him the best. Whoever it is, don't matter. It's good.
Yeah. But, guys, that does it for us on this Monday morning tight end show. So, action-packed week for the Chief Concerns crew. So, Wednesday night, we'll have our normal midweek show. Probably not going to be as long because Thursday night, we'll be back on the next day for our post-game recap show of the Bears and Chiefs game. That'll be on Bleacher Report. Hopefully JD is on there with the tech support. Hopefully they get them all figured out. So JD will be on, JD will be on Thursday night after the Chiefs Bears game. And then if you guys can't make Bleacher Report, they'll be on our channel shortly after that on YouTube. So action-packed week for all of us here at Chief Concerns.
Action-packed. And listen, y'all, hey, look, keep throwing us, I'm always want to challenge our hearts. Okay. And I appreciate you all saying that. And I appreciate y'all saying, we disagree and stuff. I love it. Okay. And we can absolutely enjoy each other and having these conversations. That's what I love about coming in here and talking to you all. Because I'm trying to give y'all a perspective too, like how it is, how we feel about it. And look, and I'll have a different conversation a little bit deeper. I'm not ready to talk about that just yet, but another time. Okay. We'll have some more things to talk about. All right. But listen, I love you all. Thank you so much, Charles Driver, Zulu, Robert Siraki, Ghost Hunter 1974, Brandon Pike, Rick Henderson, appreciate you, Richie Hall, Wendy, Andrea Chenault, Newt, I seen you sneak in. Good seeing you. Lacey Snake, Charles Driver. Who else we have in here? We had a lot of people. Andrea Chenault, Rob Miller. Good seeing. Appreciate the analysis, Rob. Thank you so much for bringing in Brother Rick. I seen Amber Brown in here. John Clifford, always good seeing you. Susie S. Let me see who else. Man, Wendy, good seeing you. Like always, if I didn't say your name, look, I'm thinking about you. We love you, Louis Cutberth. I didn't say thank you so much for all of it. Each and every one of you all. We will see you on Wednesday and Thursday, right, Marcus? That's what it is.
Yes, sir. That's
what it is. That's
action-packed week, baby.
Action-packed week. Love you all. Y'all take care. God bless. Marcus, love you, my brother. All right. All day. Here it is.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you guys Wednesday night. Take it easy. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.